This is One on One. You can't keep her off public television. We got her back. She is Karen Hunter, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, host of the Karen Hunter Show, Sirius XM Radio, 3 to 6 p.m. every day. How you doing, my friend?
I am awesome. I am really awesome.
By the way, every time I check out your show or are lucky enough to be on your show, the conversation is compelling, an overused word, but true, provocative, and makes people think. What are you trying to do?
Change the world, make it better than I found it.
Yeah.
Isn't that all of our? Shouldn't we all be trying to do that?
That's the conversation you and I had the other day,
Yeah.
so I'm going to get right into it. When I was doing Karen's show, we were like, hey, why is it that it seems so hard for us, even if we have different political points of view, which you and I have on some things, we agree on others, to be civil and respectful to each other? Why is it so darn hard?
I don't know. I think people aren't being raised. You know, you and I are same generation. There were expectations in our homes. Our families probably ate dinner together. You know, there was conversation. I know I couldn't bring home anything less than a B. I know that I had to say please and thank you. If my mother called me, I couldn't say what. That my whole mouth area would be someplace else.
Understood.
What? Just if I forgot and said what, that was a problem. And you know, there was a level of decorum where you knew how to behave outside of the home, you know, as well. You know, we kind of knew the rules. Today, I think people aren't raised. I think they're not raising children. They're raising friends and probably coddling too much because they feel bad. And, you know, we're not challenging our young people and our older people to be better.
So when it came to the question of, or comes to the question of political discourse, which you and I discussed, I said to you, and I'll say it here, that one of the struggles I have is that there are a fair number of friends I have back in Jersey, which you know better than most, right, who are supportive of Donald Trump, and that's their right. It's a beautiful thing about this country. And that's not the issue. The issue is you cannot get into a discussion with many of my friends, and you know who you are, family, others. Because if you raise an issue that's not even political, but it's about name-calling, it's about misogyny, it's about calling a woman a name by her based on her physical appearance, by mocking someone, ridiculing someone's war record and saying they're not a hero, and just the horrible things that are said. And I said, you know, we would, if our sons or daughters acted that way, we know what we would do. And they're like, oh, that's just talk. I'm into the policy. You say? You know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like,
I'm saying,
they'll say that's just him talking.
Right. And even if that were the case, right? Like, the president is the statesman, right? He's the representation of America, right? Not just here, but to the world.
That's
and we're
right.
seeing how that's playing out right now, how the world sees us as a result of a president who has no decorum, no humanity, very little humanity, no self-awareness, thinks he's the smartest person in the room, which if you think that, you're already, you know, behind. Because, you know, one of the great things about being really smart is knowing that you don't know a lot, right? That there's so much that you don't know.
You ask a lot of questions, you're curious.
So that you could pull a lever and support not just the behavior, Steve, it's beyond the behavior, it's the representation of America. Is this who we are? And so that's the question that I put on the table.
And the other part of this, because your audience is a mixed, diverse audience, but urban.
Urban, whatever that is. Yeah, let's say black.
Urban.
Let's say black.
I'm from Newark. I could say urban, but it is disproportionately black.
Yeah.
Do you think that Donald Trump, as our president, he is our president, has any meaningful ability to connect with the African-American community?
I don't think he has any meaningful ability to connect with anybody with a soul, right? So even people who support him, I have to ask them, how's your health care? You know, are your steel jobs really coming back? The coal jobs, are they coming back? These tariffs, how are they impacting farmers? We have to subsidize, and then there's a negative backlash, you know, because we're subsidizing farmers. Now other things are faltering.
Hold on, Karen. Sorry for interrupting. You're not saying that if someone voted for or supportive of Donald Trump, they quote unquote do not have a soul.
I'm saying that you're not paying attention to the things that may matter to you, right? Unless you're the 1% and you need a tax break for your jet, because that's who's really benefiting, right? So inheritance taxes and things like that, right? You own corporations. You're doing really well. Actually, I'm doing well financially. My accountant said next year you're going to do well. This is going to be a great year for you. And I'm like, good. But I still think that there are more important things in my bottom line. And so if your bottom line is the most important thing to you, I'm going to question your soul and your humanity. I just have to.
So if we talk about, we're not a horse race show, you know that. There are
Right.
too many other shows that are doing that. But 2020, there will be a lot of Democrats lined up. You've interviewed some of them. You know many of them. There will be others we don't know. Is there a chance there'll be so many Democrats lined up in 2020 that beat the heck out of each other in a primary?
Well, one could argue that's what happened with Republicans. We got Trump. So maybe we'll get the absolute worst possible. Maybe there'll be a Michael Avenatti ticket.
I'm not so sure right now.
Yeah, he argues that, this is good for him. But anyway.
That's not the story.
But we're living in a place where you would think that about Trump, right? Like with everything that he had, his baggage was heavy. It was worse than anything Santa Claus could haul down a chimney, right? Not just the wives and the cheating and the commentary and the lawsuits and the porn stars and the Playboy bunnies and,
And
and
Access Hollywood. Hey, listen, on this bus with Billy Bush. How do you even get past that?
I don't know. Thank you, because we had the absolute worst candidate ever running against him, and not from a human standpoint, because I think she would have made a fantastic president.
Not
But
appealing.
She could not relate to too many people for it to matter, right? So
Anyone jump out? Sorry for interrupting.
No.
Anyone jump out at you in the Democratic field that you say, hey, he or she?
here's my ticket.
Go
My
ahead.
Perfect ticket, and it's not a perfect ticket. This is a ticket that can win. Joe Biden at the top, Kamala Harris as vice president.
From out in California, Senator Harris.
So you got Joey, blue collar, roll up your sleeves, white man who can get in the ring and battle Trump verbally. They're about the same age, but Joey's got a little bit more street credibility. Trump hasn't even waged any battles at all. Matter of fact, President Bone Spurs, as I may call him from time to time, refuses to fight for this country. Joey has a different background. He's got a son that just passed away.
Yeah, horrible.
that will have America's heart. And Kamala Harris, you have, the California, the race, the black woman thing, even though, she's, of course, half Indian. But I think that's even appealing. And I see Joe Biden coming in. This is my dream. He wins the presidency. Then he says, you know what? I'm tired.
And then what?
And taps out. She becomes president. Yeah, that's my dream.
And then you go to the cabinet?
No, I want no parts.
Your gig's too good.
No, not only is my gig too good, I think politicians, they lose a part of anything that they want to do that's good. I'm listening to Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, and you realize how much sacrifice there is, not just of your personal life and other things, but you sacrifice and you have to, change your ideals to compromise, because that's what a real politician is
That's not Karen
about.
Hunter.
Never. I could never compromise the things that I want to get done and accomplish. I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Time I left, I'm curious about this. I asked you about this, and you give me the same answer all the time. You're optimistic.
You know what? I thought about that when I was coming here today. I'm less optimistic than I was the last time
You
spoke
told
to
me you have to be.
But after Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi,
You're talking about the midterms.
yeah, I was so disappointed in this country that you could vote for a woman that said she would show up to a public hanging, who couldn't articulate any policy that would be beneficial to Mississippi, that is in the bottom 5 of just about every category from healthcare to education. You would pull a lever for her. I was like, what is going on here?
And Gilliam's loss was powerful for you.
It was painful, but it was bittersweet, because he was 5th when I went to Florida. We did a voter registration drive last year.
you
He
did.
was in 5th place. And I went to Florida twice. And so I feel like responsible for him getting that far. I'm just going to take credit for it. But an incredible human being.
Yeah.
That he got that far. How many people voted with the voter suppression, with all of the shenanigans that happened? They had to recount. So I'm still optimistic, and more than 1 million people, former felons, got their voting rights back in Florida. So Florida's a mixed bag of nuts.
Still optimistic.
Yeah, still. Not as, but still. I pray this generation, you're raising beautiful children. And I teach at Hunter, and this scarf is actually from one of my older students. I had a 76-year-old student who gave me the scarf. She didn't think I was dressed properly. So shout out to you, Pat Johnson. But
That is John Johnson.
John Johnson's ex-wife.
Right.
Yeah.
A few seconds, go ahead.
Yeah, but I see the young people, and they don't care as much about race. They don't care much about all of the things that we seem to put a lot of importance on, and they're super smart. This generation, the Parkland generation, they're going to save us. So I'm optimistic about the future.
Karen and I love having you.
I love you.
And love you being my friend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, brother.
She's good.
You're better.
We'll see you. No, get out of here. We'll see you next time.